Hi, Year Fives. How are you? Hopefully, your first Friday back at school is going good. Welcome to Japanese for Term 3. Now, as you can probably tell, I am not teaching you this term, but I am going to record you a video every week to tell you what you need to do for Japanese. And of course, you have Mrs. Gardery to help you, who speaks Japanese, and you'll also notice that you have Mr. Cowley in the room. Now, Mr. Cowley doesn't speak Japanese, but he does speak Chinese. If you ask Mr. Cowley, he actually spent a few years living in China, so he would have lots of stories to tell you. Now, what we're going to do in this video is look at what you need to do for your first lesson this term. So first things first, you need to make sure that you have your blue folders, and we're going to start with the title page. So you're going to open up your blue folders, and in the next spare clear plastic sleeve, you're going to put in your title page. Now, I've got this up here that shows you your title page, and of course you can see me in the corner, so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, our unit for term 2 is our second topic that we learn in Japanese. So it is called All About Me, Friends and Sport. So this is the words in Japanese. This word is watashi, it means me or I. Tomodachi means friend, and supotsu means sport. So those are what those words mean on your title page. Now your title page is going to go into your folder first, but you're not allowed to color your title page until you've finished your worksheet today. So you must finish your worksheet first, and then if you have spare time, you can color in your title page. So let's have a look at what we're learning today. I'm going to switch over to our worksheet. So it is called Week 1, Greetings in Japanese. So before we can talk about our friends and what sport we like and ideas about ourselves, like how old we are, where we live, we need to know how to say hello and goodbye. That's the first thing you do when you meet somebody, so it makes sense that we start with that. Now in this table here, you can see that I have 3 different columns. Now just like in Australia, Japanese people have different types of greetings that they can use. We can have really polite greetings, we can have casual greetings, and we can have greetings that we can use for anybody. So if you want to use a polite greeting, think about who would be the person or which kinds of people you would use in a polite greeting. For example, you wouldn't say, "How you going, mate?" to Mr. Konoski because he's our principal. So you would use a polite greeting for Mr. Konoski. If it was your friend, however, you could use one of your casual greetings. And then there's also greetings in Japanese that can be used for anybody. So it doesn't matter. You can use it for Mr. Konoski, for example, or for your friend. Now, depending on how well your friendship is, depends on how casual you want to be. If you've just met somebody, even if they're in your class, you can still use the polite greetings. But if you're really good friends with them and you've known them for a while, or if you're a very casual person anyway, you might use the casual greetings, just like we do in Australia. So these are the greetings we have. We have good morning, which is ohayo gozaimasu. Nice to meet you is hajimemashite, and nice to have met you is dozo yoroshiku. We're going to have a go at saying those out loud. So I'm going to say it first, and when I point to you, it's your turn to practice saying it. Ohayo gozaimasu. Next one, hajimemashite. Dozo yoroshiku. All right, hopefully they went good, Mrs. Garter and Mr. Cowley. You can be the judge of that. Moving on to our casual greetings. Now this one is shorter. If you want to say good morning, you say ohayo gozaimasu. If you just want to say morning, hey, how you going? We say ohayo. If you want to say see you later, it's ja mata ashita. And if you want to say bye to somebody, it's bye bye. So Japanese people have borrowed that word from English. So let's have a go at saying those. Ohayo. Next one. Jamata ashita. And bye bye. Awesome. Now, our last ones we have over here can be used for anybody. So it doesn't matter if they're older or younger, or if they're your grandpa, or if they're a person you meet down the street. If you want to say hello or good afternoon to someone, konnichiwa can be used for both. If you want to say good evening to someone or good night, we say konbanwa. And classic one, I think most people know this already. If you want to say goodbye to someone in Japanese, you say sayonara. Let's have a go at these ones. Konnichiwa, konbanwa, sayonara. Okay, so now that we've looked at our 9 greetings, this is what's going to be used for the rest of our lesson. If we look down at activity number 2, you get to do this one on your own. We did a couple of these last term when you were learning at home, so I think you should be able to do this one quite easily. You have to find the English word, figure out what it is in the table, find the matching symbols, and draw a line. So for example, the first one over here is bye-bye in English. I can see that one up there in my table, bye-bye. So I'm going to be looking for those symbols. I would scroll through, oh, there it is there. So A and number 6, I would draw a line between them to match them up. And you need to do that for the rest of them. The last thing we're going to do on this page is look at some scenarios. So we've already talked about some examples with Mr. Konoski, and this is the one I referred to here. So if you wanted to say good morning to Mr. Konoski, you would say Ohayo gozaimasu, which is in the polite column. You need to read through these scenarios and tell me what greeting do you think would best fit. So how would you say hello to your teacher? How would you say goodbye to your friend? How do you say good evening to your grandpa? And how do you say see you later to your friend? So this one is all Romaji, so you don't have to write the script. You just need to use these symbols, like how would you actually say it? Now on the second page of your worksheet, if you flip it over, we have a bit of a cartoon. Now this is a translating activity, so we're going from Japanese into English. Each of these people, they all have a speech bubble. So you can see that there are some clocks in the cartoon as well. That will help you tell or give you a hint as to what time of day it is. So you need to read these symbols, go back to our chart over this side, and figure out what do they mean in English. So with our cartoons, there are 5 different speech bubbles, 5 different scenes. In this one, however, 2 people are talking. They both say something to each other. So that one you go from Japanese into English. The last part of your worksheet before you get to color your title page is looking at how to introduce yourself. So this is really important in Japan. It's really important manners in Japan that you introduce yourself properly. So you need to say nice to meet you. You need to use that phrase when you meet someone for the first time. Then after that, you would usually say your name. Now, we already know from before that nice to meet you is hajimemashite. So you would say that first, and then you would say your name. We have already learnt this word here, which is des. Des can mean is or I am. So it could be example from last term, dog it is, or in this case, I don't say Mrs. Gill it is. I say Mrs. Gill I am. I am Mrs. Gill. So this was would ugh, tongue-tied. This is what my introduction would sound like. Hajimemashite. Sensei Giru desu. So what I said was, nice to meet you, and I gave a bit of a head bow, which is also very polite. Mrs. Gill, I am. Now your job here is to write your own introduction. So I've given you some spaces. So nice to meet you. How do you actually say that? And then I've put des at the end. I am somebody. This space here is where you need to put your name. Remember, if you don't remember what your name is, look at the very front cover of your blue folders. They all have your name on there. So that's everything you need to do for your worksheet. And then since we've already finished that, you can go back to your title page and color it in for the rest of the lesson. Have a good weekend, and I will see you guys next week on Monday when I'm back at school. Bye.